Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, I've got a new drone for you today. This is a new brand to me. It's called Veeniix. And they've got a drone here called the V11 Pro. Now, this drone is a brushless motor GPS camera drone. It features a 3-axis gimbal. It says it also has electronic image stabilization and shoots in 4K. So it's an interesting looking drone. Let's get it out of the box and take a look at it. And once we do that, we'll get out in the field and we'll give it a test flight. Okay, let's give you a quick look at the box. You can see here V11 Pro, capturing your happy moments from above. Veeniix with 2 eyes. And you can see it's got kind of a blue color to it and, conventional looking folding drone. And then on the side here, it shows that it's a 4K camera, long range, extended flight time, and then talks about the 3-axis gimbal with EIS. And on the back, that's mostly just a bunch of regulatory stuff. But on the other side here, they do have the QR codes for the app. Okay, comes in a pull it out of the box. It's got a nice bag here, so let's unzip it and get it out of the bag. And as we often see on these Amazon drones, they come with a nice case. I like this one. It's got the Veeniix logo on there. I always appreciate double pull zippers. Good solid suitcase style handle. I do not see any kind of a shoulder strap, but that is not a big deal as far as I'm concerned. Okay, opening up the case, you can see the drone itself. Indeed, it is blue. Looks like we got an extra battery and the controller. This controller, pulling it out, it's just empty underneath. It looks fairly conventional. You've got the gimbal sticks below and the USB-C connector. We'll look at that in a little bit here. Then you have a spare battery, nothing else underneath there. And then, of course, the drone itself. So there's the drone, and it's got this propeller holder on the top. Just take a quick look at it here, and then we'll look at this stuff one at a time. But you can see it's got a lot of sensors. We'll get into that in detail here in a minute. And then in the top of the case here, and I'll pull all this stuff out here in a second so you can see it, but you got the documentation, spare props, and so forth. Okay, I'm not going to pull all this stuff out of the bags, but you can see what you got here. You have a couple of sets of spare props. And by the way, I noticed these are not folding props. And then you have 2 USB-A to USB-C cables. And then these are the OTG cables. Those are the cables that you will use to connect your mobile device to the remote. And looks like, we got 3 of them in there. So USB-C to Lightning, USB-C to USB-C, and USB-C to micro USB. And you've got a user manual and a flight safety guide. I almost missed it, an extra set of gimbal sticks. Okay, looking at the remote here, pretty conventional looking remote. Looks similar to a DJI RC-N1 controller. Your mobile device is going to go in the top here. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but this is where the OTG cable is. And I see there's an OTG cable already in the remote here, and it appears to be a USB-C to USB-C. That's what most of us will be using. So we have a power button here on the right side of the remote. Let's hit that and see if there's any power here. Yeah, battery's at 56%, it says. What you have is a speed mode button. You've got a take a picture button, start recording button, and this I'm quite sure is the return to home. And then of course the gimbals themselves, and then the gimbal sticks, we're all familiar with that, screw into the top of there, and the USB-C connection. So that's good. This is a fairly substantial looking remote, and that bodes well for the drone. Oh, I guess I didn't say here, and this is just the opposite of what we're going to see on most drones. You've got a scroll wheel here for tilting the gimbal, and then you have another scroll wheel on the other side for zoom, and I'm sure that's just digital zoom. And then the drone. So let's unfold this guy, pulling the prop holder off the top. It's kind of an interesting way to kind of protect the arms and the motors. And it should all just fold out. And again, these are not folding props, so that's kind of interesting. Pretty substantial. Not a bad thing at all. So there's the drone all folded out, and you have a power button on the top. Let's see if we got some power here. Yeah, typically you have to charge the battery the first time to wake it up, and we will do that here, of course, before we take it out. Let's take the battery out. I'm pressing the buttons on the side, and what I wanted to show you was you've got a USB-C charge port there on the side. And let's look at this battery. This is a 3500 milliamp hour battery. Just slides straight down in the top until you click it into place. Then on the bottom here, and by the way, there is a cellophane cover over this, so you're going to want to take that off. But looks like you got a couple of LED lights, and then right down here, that is an tiny little optical flow camera. And then those two little sensors right there is the time of flight sensor. So it's LiDAR, essentially, is what that is. Let's take a look at the camera. So the instructions say to push down here, out, and up. So yeah, that was easy enough. That worked. And by the way, you can see there's a little cushion built into the gimbal cover there. That's a good thing. And yeah, let's take a look at the camera itself. And you can see it had some cellophane over the top of that. Let's go ahead and pull that off. So here's the gimbal. It is a 3-axis gimbal, just as it should be. It says 4K camera on there, and the really tiny little letters there, I had to look at those with a magnifying lens to read them. It says it's got a 1/2-inch sensor and an f1.8 aperture, which is a good thing. That means it lets in lots of light. Now we do have, I see another piece of cellophane here on the front. I'm going to pull that off. I do not believe there are any sensors in there, but I'll let you know once I go through all the instructions, see if there is. I don't think there's any other sensors, obstacle avoidance or otherwise. It is worth noting that you've got feet that you need to pull down here in the front. So I forgot to show you this. It does use a micro SD card to record video, and it says up to 128 gigabytes. I would put a U3 rated high-speed card in there because this does shoot 4K video. Okay, there's only one thing left to do, and that's to get the Veeniix V11 Pro out in the field, and let's take it for a flight. Let's see what kind of video we get out of it, and check out the features of this camera drone. Hey, okay, we're out in the field with the Veeniix V11 Pro. It's a fairly mild day today. I'm out at Heroes Park. It's in the mid-70s. UAV forecast said there's a little bit of wind, but I'm telling you, the flags are hanging on the pole. There's no wind that I can feel at all right now. But it is a nice fall day. The leaves are starting to change, so hopefully we'll get some scenic video. But anyway, a couple of things that I didn't want to forget to talk about with this drone is it does have a 6-kilometer range. Can't remember if I talked about that earlier. It also does over-the-air firmware updates, and I have never flown this drone. I haven't even ever fired it up. So when we fire it up, it may very well ask for an update. We'll find out. It also is a standard remote ID drone. In other words, it has remote ID built in, so you don't have to add a module or anything like that to the drone. Because it is heavier than 250 grams, you do have to register it on the FAA drone zone, but easy enough. Again, built-in remote ID, so nothing you have to worry about there. I wanted to talk about price a little bit as well. I made myself some notes so I make sure I get these right. $589.99 is the list price on this drone, but they're offering an instant 20% off for $469.98. And then they also have a clickable coupon, an $80 off coupon that brings your net cost down to $389.98. That's on Amazon. I looked it up just before I came out here. And then if they give me any additional coupons or anything, I'll make sure that I'll put them in the description below. Yeah, let's quit messing around. Let's get this bird in the air. Okay, let's get this guy on the pad. A long press to start the drone, and then DJI style, a short and long press to fire up the RC. So it's powered on. They say it takes up to 40 seconds for it to connect. And it's still connecting. It's beeping. It just says connecting on there. It'll show you on the telemetry screen. And then this drone, as I spoke about before, uses the Veeniix Fly app. So we're going to fire that up. And we just got a connection notice. Okay, I got a connection notice, and it stopped beeping. And it also says it's in GPS mode. So we've got enough GPS satellites locked in so that we can fly. Now, I noticed it automatically selected V11 Pro, as you can see on the app. I am going to click on controls and see if that will take us to the straight into the calibration, and it did. So I prefer calibrating it this way. You can use the sticks. I can't remember if it's in and up or out and up to do a compass calibration, but when you start the app, it asks for it. So we're going to do that right now. So we got the beep, holding it vertically. Got another beep. It's that simple, and we're good to go. And it did that very easily. So let's see. It is saying the SD card needs formatting, and that is important. And I just clicked on that message, and it says that it'll format. Now, yeah, okay, so it's ready to go, and you can see that it tells us at the top there how much space we have on the card. The importance of doing a format in the drone as opposed to on your computer at home is that then it formats it exactly how it wants to see the card and will write to it the best. So far so good. Look at everything is fine. We've got an FPV feed. Everything is just working perfectly. So that's good news. Let's click on the three dots in the top right-hand side. And we want to turn beginner mode off. And yeah, flight distance, that's fine. Return to home altitude is set at 20 meters. I'm going to kick that up to 30 just for the fun of it. 20 meters would probably be fine here, but 30, that way I know we're above all the trees, etc. So the other thing that I'm going to tell you is remember to click save. I have made that mistake before. If you don't click save, it'll just go back to the defaults. So I've made that mistake in the past on other drones, so just remember to do that. So let's click on track and see what that says. Yeah, that's all the flight records. Now PTZ adjust, that is for fine-tuning the gimbal. I don't think we need to do that. Okay, let's take a look at and see what our camera settings are. And looks, boy, this is great. We've got full camera settings here, and I'm gonna leave. Yeah, that's switching it to manual. I'm gonna go to auto. I'm gonna leave everything in auto here, and we'll let it decide how it wants to see things. Now, what I don't see here, whoops, didn't mean to do that. For some reason, somehow I put it into full screen display, and I don't know how that happened or how to get it back. Okay, so I messed around there and I got our controls back. I did something that put it on full screen. I don't know what that is. But we left everything on auto. So I assume that it will only record in 4K. I don't see, well, let me switch it to video, and we're going to click on those three bars again. Yeah, and it's just all auto there, so I assume 4K is the only choice that we have, which is fine. That's what I wanted to shoot in anyway. So yeah, let's go ahead and start recording. So we got a recording started. At least it says it's recording, and I'm going to hit the takeoff button on the app, and let's see how it does. So I'm hitting that takeoff button, so I must have to start the motors first. So I'm going to go down and in on the sticks. That starts the motors. Then let's try that takeoff button. There we go. And I hit the slider, and then we got to click take off. Okay, you pull the slider and you click take off on the app there. So they're all a little bit different, but boy, look at this. Man, is it stable. It's not moving around at all. That is exactly what we want to see. Perfect. Let's bring it in here. Bring it down. Let's see if we can bring it into the camera here and give you a better look at it. You know, it's weird. I'm instantly very comfortable. This feels good. It is. It seems to be very stable. So let's go back and forth here, and you can see how that 3-axis gimbal works. Tip it back, it drops the camera. Move forward, and it picks the camera up. So as you move sideways, you can see how it's keeping that camera perfectly stable. Okay. Speaking of camera, I'm going to drop it down. Whoops, I was pushing the wrong button there. That's the zoom wheel I was messing with. I'm going to have to remember the gimbal dial is on the opposite side of what I'm used to, and it's very sensitive. So I'm going to try and drop. There we go. That's, boy, it's very sensitive. Let's bring the drone back over a little bit, and we're going to do a droney here. And it's looking into the sun, so take that into consideration here. Reversing up now, reversing up. And yeah, it's doing just fine. We're about 40 meters high, back on that reverse stick, at about almost 5 meters per second. And I do not know what speed mode we're in. I'm going to hit that speed mode button here on the controller, and that gave me 3 beeps. So that tells me that's going to be high speed. So let's go. Let me pick the camera up. Oh boy, that was the zoom wheel. I'm used to that the gimbal dial being on the other side. So trying to pick it up just a little bit. This gimbal dial, it works, but it has a lot of overrun and very sensitive. So I don't know if there's a way to adjust that. You can just see me messing around with it here. You got to be very ginger on that thing. Okay, I think that's about the best we're going to do. Let's go full stick forward here, and I'm pressing the stick straight forward, and let's see what kind of speed we get. And the drone's going right over the top of us, and about 9 meters per second. So, you know, that's moving along pretty good. That is 9 meters per second is about, oh gosh, 21, 22 miles an hour or so. Okay, let's kind of stop here. Let's grab some more altitude. And boy, I keep hitting that. I wanted to drop the camera, and I keep hitting the wrong gimbal wheel to do it. I wanted to look down into the pond here. So again, we're in sport mode. Let's see if we can see any fish down in the pond. Looking straight down, and that's the other thing I wanted to show you, is this guy will look straight down. Let's mess with that speed mode again. So 1 beep tells me that it's in low speed mode, and that's how you're going to get things done when you want to get a really good cinematic footage. So I'm not seeing, we're not seeing much of anything in that pond. So let's pick that camera back up, and let's see if I can stop it right where I want. Yeah, there's kind of the rule of thirds. It's pretty close. That gimbal wheel is going to take some getting used to. So let me turn it around here, and we'll get the sun at the drone's back, and we'll see how the video, see what kind of video we get. And also right here, we've got the flagpole. So I'm going to try and, I'm pushing it the wrong way. Drop the camera down, and let's see if we can do an orbit around the flagpole here. Yeah, you know, the fairly quick yaw, even though we're in low speed mode, the yaw is fairly quick, and I'm going to see if I can drop that camera just a little bit. Fair amount of overrun on that roller for the camera, so you really got to be very ginger on it. So let me see. I'm trying to do a manual orbit here, moving the the right stick to the right and the left stick to the left. And you can see I'm kind of overdoing it here. The yaw in particular is very, very sensitive. There, I've kind of got it. Okay, that's better. And I am full to the right on the right stick and just barely moving that left stick to the left. Kind of got that under control there. So, yeah, this thing is perfectly capable of those kind of cinematic moves. Let's try another one here. I'm going to move it. I'm going to point the camera down. We're going to move right over the flag here. Whoop! Gosh darn! I just keep moving that wheel the wrong way, and I wanted to go straight down. So this is all operator error here. You know, kind of getting used to the controls. Let's see if we can kind of center up on the flagpole here. Move it just a little bit further forward. And then I'm going to show you a trick. Let's try it. So this is going to be all on the left stick. I'm going to move the left stick up and to the left, and we're going to spin around, and I'm going to see and rise, and I'm going to see if I can do a reveal. And again, you know, I'm a little bit fast on that yaw, but we're doing it here. I should be raising a little faster, and there I see. That's hard to do. I slowed down on the yaw as I was raising it up. So, but we're getting there. And then let me start see if I can lift the camera here as we go. And I'm just barely touching that camera dial. And what I'm trying to do is do a reveal over the park here as we get around. Yeah, and that was not the best, but you know, with some practice, and I wish there were adjustments of the controls on this guy, because if you could slow those controls down, you could do pretty good. So I'm dropping the left stick straight down, dropping her down, and in fact, let's hit that speed mode. We're going to go in high speed, and let's look at the vertical speed on the way down. And I'm pulling the left stick straight down, so that's 1.5 meters per second. So if we go back into slow speed, let's see what that is. Yeah, it's still 1.5 meters per second. So the speed mode does not affect the vertical speed, it appears. But I'm trying to get lower here, trying to get down to about 40 meters or so. Almost there. There we are. Okay, full stick forward, and again, this is in low speed, so let's see horizontal speed. Okay, about a little over 3 meters per second, around 3 meters per second. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I'm going to hit it again. So that's normal mode. Let's hit full stick forward in normal mode and see what we're doing here. And that gets us up to about 5 meters per second. So, yeah. And 4.5, 5 meters per second. Okay, I'm going to stop, and we're going to hit that button one more time. And you hear the 3 beeps. That means we're in high speed mode. And full stick forward. And yeah, we almost hit 10 meters per second there. I thought I saw 9.9 for a second there. And boy, look at this. We got some really nice looking colors in the trees here. Let's kind of go out over, and I turned around, so I'm pointing my pointing the flat. Oh boy, I'll tell you what, let me try and pick that gimbal up. Gosh, man, I'm really struggling with gimbal movement on this guy, right, folks? So okay, that's a little better. Let's turn the drone around and bring it back towards us. And again, that quick yaw. I'm trying to do a nice slow turn. Okay. And you saw Costco off in the distance there. But I kind of wanted to show you some of the trees in the neighborhood here. Let's head across the road. Let's try a little range test here and see what this guy will do. So we got plenty of battery. This thing is performing great. you know, it's doing well. Boy, I tried to pick up that gimbal. I tried to pick it up just a little bit. It is tough to adjust. Drone's just right in front of us now. I'm watching it. It is hauling the mail. I'm telling you what, I like this little guy. So we're going to fly across over into the field over there. If I can get out to that far corner, and I'm kind of adjusting my vector here a little bit. We're going to go across the road, and the far corner of that field behind Walmart is about 1 kilometer away. And let's see how we do. I'm going to raise a little bit in altitude here. Give it as good of a chance as we can. Altitude is your friend when you're doing some distance. And I want to see if I can get this guy out 1 kilometer. You know, the FPV has been perfect on it. You know, no problems with control signal or anything. They've done a good job with this one. This is a real drone. You guys are already looking at the video. I will not have seen that until I get home, but I can tell you what I see on the FPV screen looks good, so I have no doubt. So we're getting out there. We're behind the Walmart now. If we get out into that far corner of the field there, I know that is just about 1 kilometer away. And boy, you can see me trying to adjust that yaw a little bit, and it ain't easy. Yeah, so I'm seeing a little, yeah, signal is weak, it says. I'm seeing a little bit of freeze up, but I still have telemetry. I'm getting freeze up on FPV, but we're officially out 1 kilometer, and it's giving me a message, weak signal. So let's see if we can, yeah, and there it caught up. So it's just I still had telemetry, still had good control of the drone. I just had some freeze up on FPV. And now I got it back, and I am turning the drone around, and I'm just doing it. Sometimes when you change the aspect of the antenna, it'll affect your feed, but so far so good. And there's that big old Walmart. All right, you can see where I'm at there in Heroes Park. So let's bring this guy back. Man. That was just fine. I mean, you know, we're in an urban environment with a lot of Wi-Fi interference, and the drone did just fine. The worst thing I could say was we got a little bit of stop and go there on the FPV feed when we got out there 1 kilometer, but it came right back. And even as we're turning, a lot of times you'll see the weak point of a lot of drones is when you're turning the drone. Again, it changes the aspect of the antennas and you'll lose signal, etc. Not this guy, it was just fine. So, excellent. And by the way, battery power wise, I'm looking at the top of the screen. Well, it tells, if you look in the top right, it's saying we're at 54% battery, and there's also that green line that goes across the top of the FPV screen. So we're doing good. And again, this first flight is just simply to test the controllability of the drone, the camera quality, the signal quality, etc. And so far, they all get a good rating from me. The only complaint I could say, if I had a complaint, would be that I wish I could adjust the rates on the gimbal wheel, and particularly on the yaw. I wish I could slow down that yaw a little bit. But those are things I think also, if you flew this thing consistently, you'd probably get used to. But it would be nice to be able to control them. So it's just about right over the top of us again. Let's take a few pictures, and it's pretty smoky today, so these pictures are not going to. And I was turned away from the drone, and I lost signal there for a second, but now I turn back towards it and we're fine. So you see all the smoke in the distance there. We've had a ton of wildfires, and the smoke just comes and goes. It's been heartbreaking. It's really burnt up a lot of wildland and so forth, and then the smoke, you just know it's not healthy. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to stop recording, and I'm going to do that on the controller. I'm clicking, I'll hold this up in front of the camera, on the right hand side, that bottom button, and that stopped recording, and it's wanting to allow access to my library. So I'm going to say, I don't know, let's click limit access and see what it says. The Veeniix Fly can only access items that you select, that you can add to your library. No items have been selected. Okay, done. So I think it's going to save to my library. We'll find out. If not, we know it saves to the SD card, and that's what we want anyway. Okay, so now we want to go into picture taking mode, and I'm going to hit on the left side, the bottom button on the left. I'm going to hit that to see if we can take a picture. I don't know if I'm not sure if I have to manually switch modes, but we're going to try it here. Hit that button. Yeah, and it's taking a picture. So it switched the modes, and it's taking a picture. And it's telling me the signal is weak for some reason. We're pointed right at the drone. Okay, so we got a picture. There's no point in, I don't think, in taking any more pictures there. Let's turn the drone around. And I'm still in high-speed mode. I'm going to put it in the middle mode. So 2 beeps there gives me normal mode. And, you know, you can compare these to other pictures I've taken with other drones. I always typically try and take these same 2 pictures with all of my drones. And, yeah, so anyway, we'll get over here and we'll see if we can get a picture of the Costco. I'm going to move kind of sideways here. Yeah, you know, I'm getting better with the controls on this thing, and I just think it's, I wish you could adjust them, but it's also something that I know that as you fly the drone, you'll get better control of. Okay, let's take another picture, and this time I'm going to do it on the app, touching that button. Picture receiving, it says. Alrighty. We have about 42% battery, so let's fly this guy around a little bit. Let me go back and go back into video mode. So we got video started again, and let's see if we can fly it around a little bit. Maybe we'll take it out here over the neighborhood, and then we'll do a return to home. And let's see how well it does. To my knowledge, this drone does not promise any kind of precision landing or anything. But on the return to home, we just want to make sure that it is relatively accurate. So hitting a top speed here of about 5 meters per second. This drone is no speed demon, but you know, also the lower speeds are way more cinematic. I'm just looking at all this. You know, I've been flying out at this park for a few years now, and all this used to just be empty fields. It's pretty amazing to see all the development here. Some beautiful houses. So we are down to 41%. Let's kick it into high speed mode here. Heard those 3 beeps. Let's kick her forward. Let's see if we can get out over, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember the name of this park. I fly here all the time. I don't remember the name of it. Anyway, it's a guy's name. But anyway, let's get out over the park, and then we'll try return to home and see if this thing will get back to us. Look at the leaves changing color there. See the reds and the yellows? That is so cool. That's the beauty of this time of year. And that development you see on the right-hand side of the screen, that's a 55 plus development. It was just an empty field not long ago. Now it is full of houses. Okie dokie, so we're out there a ways, and again, this is a very Wi-Fi challenged area. There's a lot of Wi-Fi going on here with different businesses, homes, etc. We're having no connection problems. This is just great. So I'm going to hit return to home. I'm going to do it on the controller. And look at that, it took the command immediately, and it's pointed right back for us. And let's see how fast it'll come back. It's coming back in high-speed mode. Heck, it's faster. This is the fastest we've seen it go. It's coming back at 10 meters per second. So that's a good 25 miles an hour or so. So you can't beat that with a 24, 25, something like that. And it's coming right back. Oh, that's great. I'm having fun with this drone. I'm just telling you. And it says going home on the telemetry screen here. So that's good. I noticed also that on the telemetry screen, it is in Imperial. So I'm looking at metric on the app and Imperial on the telemetry screen. So good, you got the best of both worlds. And here's the drone right above us. Let me drop that camera down if I can remember which way to turn the scroll wheel. Okay, there we are. Pushing that camera straight down, and it is beginning its descent. And it's coming back coming down at about 1.5 meters per second. And I'll hit the pause here, well, truthfully, it probably wouldn't hurt it to land in the grass, but we'll see if we can get it on the pad. I'll hit the pause. I'm watching it come down. See if I can get the camera adjusted here where you can kind of see where it is. So I'm gonna, yeah, you can see it on the camera. I'm gonna hit the pause button right now. Yeah, and that worked, okay. So let's see if we can get it over the pad. Bringing it this way. I'm just looking for that pad on the screen. There we go. And let's put it in low speed mode. So that's low speed mode. Bringing it back just a little. And boy, the wind always comes. We got a big gust of wind. Just as I'm trying to do that, I'm not touching the sticks, and a big gust of wind came up. Of course, right? Right when you're trying to do some precision flying. Let's bring it back. It's way off now, man. I'm telling you. Never fails. There we go. Get it lower. It's not in landing mode. I'm just trying to get it lower so that I can kind of get it over the pad here. Okay. Back it up just a little bit more. And it's moving off. Yeah, it never fails. Okay. Left stick straight down. Will it go into landing mode? Yes, it finally did. And look at that. We made it on the pad. Will the motors shut off? Yeah, the motors did shut off. One thing I noticed it didn't do was pick up the camera. We're going to see if we can do that manually. Got the camera picked up again, and it is still recording. So what I'm going to tell you to do is remember to stop recording once you land. That way you will not have, you'll avoid a corrupted file. So let's stop recording right now. Okay, let me get it all shut down and we'll do a quick conclusion. Hey, okie dokie, the Veeniix V11 Pro, I'm declaring this one a winner. What didn't it do just fine? The worst I can say is a couple of times I had some freeze-ups on FPV, but I was out there, I was way out there. The controls, I wish you could had some fine-tuning adjustment on the controls. I struggled with the yaw and I struggled with the gimbal dial, but those are things that you're going to get used to with the drone. And again, standard remote ID drones, so all you have to do is register it and you're good to go. This thing flies great, and you guys will have already seen the video, but I have no reason to believe that it's not going to look just fine. So yeah, that's about it. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out, and if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all, I really appreciate you taking the time to look at this video, and of course, we'll see you on the next one.